Brett Hull, Courtnall, Campbell, Cujo, Jenny Oates, Brown, Chase, Fuhr, Zombo, Cecil, Butcher, Shanny, Tilly, Tuttle, Sutter, Twister, Turcotte, Kimball, Turgeon, Barron, Basson, Pronger, Pearson, Bergevin, Bozon, Al McInnes, Crab, Chuck, Howard, Chuck, Petrovicki, Pellerin, Dimitra, Yate, Corson, Conrad, Gretzky. Yes, sir, I'm a Blues fan. Yes, sir, I'm a Blues fan. Heartbreak's all I knew, man. That team from old St. Lou, man. Got a cup near 52, man. Give me a Let's Go Blues.
Get on your feet. Here's your starting lineup for Toasted STL. Tom Franklin, the man called Wags, and Blues Fan Reacts.
Long time no see. How's it going, guys? Tom Franklin here with the Toasted Blues podcast. Just riding solo today, at least as far as Wags and Blues Fan Reacts goes, both of them. Well, we're recording this in the middle of the day on the middle of a weekday, so they have jobs and they have lives. Mason nearly got out of his job to do this just for a little bit, but unfortunately, he work called. So basically, it is me today reminding you that I exist still and that this show exists. It's been a little while since we popped out a new Toasted Blues episode. A couple of reasons for that. Number one, quite frankly, there's not much going on with the Blues. It's the off season, and not much is going on in terms of roster moves at this point. There is one roster move that I think a lot of Blues fans are still waiting to happen that has not yet happened yet. Ben Hockman of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch just wrote about the ongoing saga of Vladimir Tarasenko and how he is now a question mark on skates. So I'm going to bring in someone to talk a little bit about that as well. Also, a couple small Blues-related bibs and bobs to talk about going forward. And then we have some details on a very special event coming up this Saturday to honor a young 7-year-old Haylee York, who, if you don't know her story, she suffered from pulmonary hypertension and she passed away. And now they are holding a fundraiser in her honor and to raise money and awareness for pulmonary hypertension this Saturday at Don Brown Chevrolet. So I'm going to bring in Guy, the YA Blues fan, to talk about that here and also talk about his stay in St. Louis. He is hopping over the boards right now. And Guy, how's it going, bud?
Aloha!
Aloha! Although you're much closer to us now than you've ever been since we started podcasting here.
Oh, I know.
You're actually in St. Louis.
Isn't that cool, man? Isn't it cool that I'm finally here? And it's been a couple of years, and I'm sorry. So, I have issues with mics and all that stuff all the time, right? So This weekend I did the Warrior showcase, and my main mic went out on me.
Oh, man, I know that. In fact, if you wouldn't mind turning your current mic up just a little bit, if you could, you're a little on the quiet side.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
There we go. Much better.
Yeah.
You're not a quiet guy. I know you personally, so we want to make sure you're heard loud and clear as always. And of course, if
I
you're
can hear the echo in this room I'm in, so that's why I thought it was too loud.
Oh, that's you're in an untreated room and not the usual space, and it's weird. And of course, in case if you're watching the video version of this, I recently changed my equipment as well. I no longer using my old AT2020 with the mic arm. I was able to get my hands on a Shure SM58, which is like the industry standard for microphones, and they're super durable. I could knock this thing off the desk and it'll be perfectly fine. And so I decided to do some changing of my own as well. Also change some of the background a little bit here. In fact, I'll go ahead and lean the camera up a little bit just so you can see a little bit of the photo that I got at the equipment sale. That is a landscape photograph of the old arena just a few days before it was demolished. And of course, I live right down the street from the old arena site, so I always drive by that site and wish I were 7 years old again so I can see that beautiful old barn. But current events here, yeah, I know, right? I was unfortunately, we talked about this before. I'm too young to have a lot of memories of the old arena, but I do have some. I do have some from seeing Blues games and St. Louis Ambush games. Yeah,
the Ambush used to have a game on my birthday, and we'd go to that, and that was just really, really fun.
Yeah, people. There's a whole generation of people that are listening and watching this right now that have no idea that indoor soccer is so fun. But St. Louis Ambush soccer and then the Steamers before them, they were an absolute gas.
The Steamers would set attendance records for the league.
Yeah,
St. Louis was a soccer city. And that's pretty cool. And that's what I like with the MLS coming. I can't wait to start covering them. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And they actually, the Steamers and the Ambush both, they played in the St. Louis Arena, and then when the Kiel Center opened, the Ambush played in the Kiel Center, and I played and I watched a lot of games, good crowds, and it was, you're right, St. Louis is a soccer town, and that was our major league option at that point. So Darrow Duran, Slobo, all those guys. We need to do a soccer podcast at some point here on the Toasted Network, and we are working on some details on
as soon as you do it, I'll raise my hand and join in, man.
Absolutely. We'll tag you in for sure. But this is a hockey podcast. We are taking over.
Let's talk hockey.
Yeah, we are.
So you talked about the Tarasenko thing, right?
Yeah.
I know I'm patting myself on the back with it. When this first came out, I was the only one that said he's not going anywhere. Right?
Yeah.
I was the only one, and you know that. And I'm not trying to. I saw it. I said that there something's not right here. Something doesn't smell right. Something. And I have an article that I'm like 3/4 of the way done called the Tarasenko narrative. And what I'm thinking is a lot of this is posturing, and it's posturing on both parts. And I think that there is an issue within the Blues, and I'm not going to get into what that issue is now. And it's, I don't want to turn this into a hate podcast, but I have a feeling that there's an issue within the Blues that is going to come to a head this season. And it's not Tarasenko. I think he's he one of the straws, but he's not the main issue, right? He's not the camel's back.
Sure.
And that's what I see happening. If he's going to get traded, it's going to come down to one thing. It's going to either have an awesome training camp. There's going to be scouts in the building. He's going to be skating hard. He's going to be skating fast. He's going to be getting that shot away. Not going to play tentative, and he's not going to play lazy. That's something that I keep hearing. That's a word I keep hearing with him that really shocks me. So I've had to go back and watch tape and watch stuff that I don't get to see. See, that's the one good thing. I just got accepted by the NHL as a media member, right?
Yeah.
So I got to go back and watch not a TV take, but the NHL take of a couple of games.
Nice.
And now when you start to see that wider angle, you start to see some of the stuff you didn't see before. And it's interesting. Also, so you hear that going to have to either come out and have an awesome training camp, or he's going to have to come out in that first month and a half and put in 5, 10, 15 goals. Right? Yeah. He's going to have 25. I'd say season starts on the 14th. By December 1st, he needs to have close to 30 points. Right? In order for him to get traded. Because no one's going to, first of all, what's he worth? Right? He's
coming
not
off of 3 shoulder surgeries.
I'm not giving him up for a 6th round.
Yeah.
I'm not giving him up for a 5th. I'm not giving him up for a 4th.
No.
He has potential. He's a 1st round guy.
Right.
He's the 1st round guy. He's a forward. He's a defenseman prospect. He's not this reclamation project that everybody's calling him.
But it almost feels like his reputation still needs to be reclaimed, and it seems clear that when he came back, after the 3rd shoulder surgery and going into the playoffs, he looked better than he did the year before when he came back. But it was obvious that he was still like behind a step a little bit, and people that have seen him in person can verify that, because again, when you're watching the games on TV, as Guy kind of alluded to, you don't get to really like zoom in on one player and just watch him for an entire period. Like whenever when I went to a couple Blues games this past season, and sat up in the suite, because I had a media credential, and they were only letting like first responders in. So there was like maybe a couple hundred fans in their max. That building, Enterprise Center, was really quiet. And all you could hear was the sound of skates on the ice, slap shots, and you can even hear player chatter, even all the way up above the section. These are the suites that are up above the 300 level. Yeah. But it was very quiet, and I found myself almost like an NHL scout at times, just zeroing in on. I would pick out a player, like I would pick out Torrey Krug because he was new, and I wanted to see how he was doing, and I would just watch him out there on the ice. You can do that in person. You can't do that on TV very much. So, Tarasenko comes back a little slow, but he does get 2 goals in the final Blues playoff game against Colorado, goes to Russia and bags a couple of more, but I think the rep with him is still, he's not all the way back yet.
Yeah, he needed more hockey in Russia than he got, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the other thing with that, and I talked about this, and this is kind of what I'm going at in that article. So you look at June 12th, 2019.
Yep.
8 minutes to go in the third period. He has Charlie Coyle and Zdeno Chara chasing him down the left wing. He does something that a lot of players do all the time, but he did it in such a way that it changed that entire game. He looks back. When he looks back, Charlie Coyle breaks away and skates towards the net. Now Coyle, who was in the play, has his back completely to the play. When he looks back, not only does Coyle break off, Chara breaks off, goes behind the net to try and cover that pass behind the net. What they do is they leave Braden Shen, who is coming right down Broadway, wide open. Tarasenko puts a pass on Shen's stick, and that makes it 3-0. That changed the game. Yeah. Now, it's not the game winner, but it won the game, right? You know what I mean? Because at 2-0, if that delay doesn't happen, 2-0, and they score that other goal that made it 4-1, right? Because I think that the fourth goal doesn't happen if the third goal doesn't happen. You kind of look at the way things were at that moment. That third goal deflated Boston.
Yeah, 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in hockey for a reason, and that's because one goal by either team can totally swing the direction of a game. And you're
absolutely,
right.
And once the momentum shifts, the game's over.
Yeah, once it became 3-0, then it kind of felt like, okay, the Blues were putting their boots to Boston's collective throats. At that point, if Boston scores and makes it 2-1, when I'm at Enterprise Center for the watch party, the tension, which was already at about a 9 out of 10, goes to about 20 out of 10 because then it becomes nervy.
So he does that, right?
Yeah.
He's a major part of winning the cup, period, right? Through that. So he is. Now, here we are 2 years later, and everybody's not looking at the cup with him, but the last 2 years with his surgery and all of this and going, oh, he's a bum, get rid of him. Okay, I want to take that and flip it. Let's flip it to the coach. Sure. The coach is 2-10-1 in the past 2 years. Yet every time I bring that up, the first time I hear is, oh, it's COVID. Oh, everybody was injured. Oh, this. Oh, that. Well, wait a minute. Why do the excuses apply here when they don't there? Right?
True.
Why do we say the coach won us the cup so he gets a pass? Tarasenko won his cup. He should get a pass. I'm telling you, there's something, and I said this the moment it came out, Tom, and I'm not trying to be, that type of guy. I said that though. Something stinks here, and it stinks to high heaven. It doesn't make sense. That's why I said it wasn't going anywhere. I think that somehow, somewhere, somebody leaked it, and it was leaked to destroy the process. Right? Because if let's put it this way, if this doesn't get leaked, what do you think his chances are of getting traded?
Probably better.
A lot better.
Yeah.
Right? A lot better.
And I think his agent, by the way, was trying to leak stuff out to kind of, maybe twist Doug Armstrong's arms a little bit. But then, as he said, this comes out and almost kind of shatters that.
So yeah, here's what I do know, right? Tarasenko has been unhappy with his playing time and playing position. Tarasenko's not the only one, right? Tarasenko has worked with one agent for a while, decided to leave that agent to go with an agent of a friend of his. And I'm going to say his ring on Panarin, right?
Yeah, Artemi Panarin. Yeah,
Artemi Panarin. Panarin went to this agent because this agent was able to get Panarin in the Rangers. That put him into the number one line and the number one because that's where he needed to be.
Sure.
Right? So if there's an issue in the Blues, and it's obvious. It's been there for a while. It's been creeping up since the bubble, and we've put blinders onto it. We really have. And look, I don't like talking. It's not that we talk bad about the Blues. We're not. We're not talking personally. We're talking professionally. We're talking about what we see, how we watch the game, right? I like to consider myself this is all my journalism. So my eyes, I'm a professional journalist. Barely, but my eyes, so if I'm going to watch the game that way, I have to report what I see, the perspective of what I see. And what I see right now is a team that's not on the same page. And there's a lot. And I'll tell you what, I was at practice yesterday. I was the only media member at practice. And it's a informal practice, right? They can't hold practices. No coaches there, obviously. Parayko was there and looked really good. I asked him about his back. He said his back was fine. He spent about 5 minutes talking to me.
Wow.
Right?
He's a nice guy.
Parayko talked to me for a few minutes. I got blown off by a couple players. I won't say what their names are. I'm not going to go there. Lundqvist was out skating, but not in pads. He was more playing the role of coach. Now that concerns me, right? We're 2 months away. He had his knee surgery 5 months ago, right? I think he had his knee surgery back in March.
Yeah.
Right?
I get the
April,
feeling
May, June, July, August, that's 5 months.
Yeah. Well, it was a complete tear though, wasn't it?
I think so, but it's still at this point, I would like to see him doing more than being a coach. We know 2 months. 2 months ago in the season.
That was also one practice. I mean, he may have been practicing hard, and then maybe just got a little sore on him, taking a little bit of a break. I mean,
I will say that I only watched one.
Yeah, 2 months out of the season, like he doesn't have to grind at this point. I mean, he just needs to, basically keep his legs under him, and kind of get back up to speed, and hopefully that's all it is. Of course, I wasn't there. I haven't been to Blues practices, so I can't say that's definitively. But I like to think Oscar, the poor guy seems to be, always banged up for one reason or another. He plays hard, and I think
that's why he's banged up. He plays hard.
Exactly.
Talking about
and he's a fan favorite for that. And maybe he's just playing it safe, and just trying to do what he can to get back to health, but not do too much to where he gets hurt again.
I'll give that to you. Absolutely, no fault. I'll give that to you. I did see two surprises there. Jaden Schwartz was at practice.
Yeah, I heard he was in town. I read that Athletic article from Jeremy Rutherford, and apparently he's still going to be skating at Centene with the team. Did you have
wearing
a chance?
Blues gear?
Yeah, it's weird. It
surprised me.
That's the weird part. But did you read that Jaden Schwartz article?
I got to read some of it. I didn't. I mean, yesterday, we'll talk about this a little. Yesterday was a really fantastic day for me. So I didn't. I was on cloud nine a little bit, so I didn't get to read the whole article yet.
So basically, the general gist is, he felt that, well, for one, his dad passing really did a number on him mentally, and it probably was a big. And he basically blamed that for having an off year this past year. And if you watch Jaden Schwartz, we've all watched Jaden Schwartz for the past decade. Something was off with him this past year. You could see it. You could tell. And it turns out, obviously when you lose a family member like that, that's a tough deal. He apparently was even debating whether he wanted to continue playing. He was apparently ready. He had 1 foot into retirement almost. That's kind of the way I took it. And then Seattle just fell in love with him and made him a offer. I mean, I wouldn't say it wasn't an offer he couldn't refuse, but I think even I think he was a little, I wouldn't say surprised, but flattered by how they treated him.
And I get that. I actually get it 100%, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
What I don't get is why he was continually on the ice. Right? And I say, no, I want to come back to this because this is important here.
Sure.
If you're his boss, you know that he's not giving you his best. Are you going to keep giving him that top assignment that he keeps screwing up because he's not got his head in the game? Or do you say, hey, I'm going to put you down a little bit. I'm going to put you down and give you another assignment so, you can get your head into shape. That didn't happen.
A couple of things with that. Number one, just based on what I've seen of Schwartz, like in locker room scrums and just what I know about him. I mean, for one, it wasn't like he was taking plays off or anything like that. I mean, he was still playing hard. It was just he was mentally off, and so I think maybe and I'm sure Craig Berube had to have been in constant contact with Jaden Schwartz and checking in on him and seeing how he was doing, probably reading his body language, in the locker room. Jaden Schwartz doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would go to a coach and say, hey, I'm struggling. I need a break. He probably had, maybe you can call it pride or what have you, or maybe it's just a feeling of obligation that he had to play because of his stance on the team and as a glue guy. I just don't see Schwartz as the type of guy that would, go to a coach and say he's having those issues. I'm sure he tried to work through them. He seems like a guy that works through his issues, and maybe it is to the detriment of the team. Maybe he has too much pride. I don't know.
But see, that's where I draw the line. That's what the coach's job is. The coach's job is to put the best product on the ice night after night. It is the coach's job to see who's doing what and move them around to make things work.
I think maybe if Hoffman and Schwartz's spots in the lineup were flipped and it was Schwartz on the third line, maybe the Blues do a little bit better. Maybe,
you know what?
Maybe that wakes up Schwartz.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm sorry. I know people in this town, and I get flame sprayed for this, left, right, and center. Love Berube. But I'm sorry. There are some things here that I can point to legitimately and say, what the fuck, Chuck? So I don't go there that often.
No, you don't.
But that's what I'm sorry, Tom. I gotta call a spade a spade. There is an issue that needs to be handled, and the off season has made it bubble a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
right?
I know you've talked about it on the fan report, but when do we finally, and I think we talked about this when I was in Hawaii a couple months too, when do we finally give an expiration date to the good vibes from the Stanley Cup win when it comes to Berube?
Well,
I say it's expired.
Yeah, to me it expired. Now this is the thing that I think a lot of people. I am not happy with one cup.
Mm-hmm.
No, but it's great we got one, but you know what? Go 300 miles north. They won cups in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right? 11, 13, and 15.
Yeah.
Right? That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
That is what we should be shooting for. That is the team that we had. We had the team that should have won 3 cups 2 years. Or 2 cups in 3 years.
This team was built for that.
Exactly, they were. And something happened in the bubble, and I don't know what it is, that just destroyed this team.
Yeah,
it has not recovered.
Yeah, the glue. It feels like the glue that kept the team together kind of came undone during that bubble. So
Could it have been Bouwmeester? And that's something I wrote about. I wrote an article saying, hey, maybe this had something to do with Bouwmeester going down.
well, and not just going down, but taking him out of the locker room. Period. I mean, and again, it's really hard for, I think, the casual fan to understand the role that someone like an Alex Steen or a Jay Bouwmeester plays in the locker room. Having, you hear about it all the time, veteran presence. Just having that veteran presence, that veteran leadership, that selfless nature to teach the young kids and show them a better way. By all accounts, Jay Bouwmeester, consummate professional, absolutely, in every sense of the word. Nice guy, willing to help out. Same thing with Alex Steen. You take both of those out of the locker room, then it's like, okay, now who are you looking up to? Because those two veterans are gone, and I feel in a lot of ways Steen and Bouwmeester have yet to be replaced properly in that regard, and it's gonna be up to someone to step up.
I agree with you, and if I'm looking at this roster right now, I say the person that needs to step up the most is Tarasenko.
Yeah.
And I say that, I get his concerns. I get them. I absolutely do. Trust me. I mean, it sounds like I'm waffling, but I'm not. Okay. I'm saying that while Tarasenko has legitimate injury concerns or medical concerns, get that. It's also time for Tarasenko to go to his teammates and say, dudes, the business, I had to act that way. While I'm wearing this note, I'm going to give you my all. And until I'm not wearing the note, our goal is the cup.
Yeah.
If he does that, and actually Guido wrote an article about that and said, for Tarasenko, it's time to just play hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's time to shut up and play hockey. And I agree. It's time to shut up and play hockey. Let that behind the scenes stuff not affect you.
Yeah. And, it brings up an interesting scenario. We were talking about how, we were talking earlier about how Tarasenko still has to reclaim his image or restore his image. What if he comes back and, with something to prove, and we get 110% Tarasenko every night, and the guy drops 40 goals this coming season, and basically becomes that Tarasenko of old. What do you do then? If you're the St. Louis Blues, do you welcome back to him back to the team with open arms, and he becomes the franchise player that we thought he was, or are you still trying to move him at that point? Is that going to be enough for Tarasenko to say, I'm a St. Louis Blue going forward. You don't have to trade me. I'm good. Because I don't know if he's ever going to get to that point again.
Well, that's, first of all, it's a good point. But second of all, if he's going to drop 40, I want him dropping 40 for us and not somebody else.
Exactly.
And that's what it's all come down to. If his shoulder, and everyone talks about his shoulder. Oh, his shoulder. If his shoulder is good and he can drop 30, 35, 40, I want him dropping them for us.
Yeah.
I certainly don't want him in the back of our net.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, if he ends up going to one of our rivals and we got to play him 5 times, he's going to score 5, 6, 7, 8 goals on us.
I don't think Armstrong is going to do that, though. I think he's going to end up in the Northeast or East Coast somewhere.
Well,
if he does,
you don't know what he's going to get forced to do if it comes down to salary cap. Salary cap is an issue right now. We have 1.5 million, and I think we still have Thomas to sign, right?
Yeah, Thomas is the remaining guy that needs to be signed, and they have about $1.5 million to do that, which I'm not sure is going to be enough.
Right. Thomas was on the ice. Thomas looked good.
Yeah.
Right.
I hear he's looking great.
Yeah, he does. He was focused. He was focused on the ice. For part of the time, I stood right by the benches while they practiced. So I was right there, and then the rest of the time I went up top and kind of like showed some of it. I'm going to practice tomorrow. I didn't today. Since I've been in town, man, I've been going a mile a minute. I guess you've seen that. I got banned on Facebook again. And this is the one of all the bans I've gotten on Facebook. This is the stupid one, right? And I've had some stupid ones. So one of the guys that I served with and was my boss for a while said, dude, just suck it up, take care of it, get back on the ice, get back out there, mic drop. Well, I responded, well, I can still kick your ass anytime. And I got banned for that.
Because he either he got butthurt and reported you, or
no, he didn't report me. He knew better.
Or Facebook's algorithm.
Yeah, the algorithm got me.
Because I've occasionally wanted to say something stupid like that on Facebook, and Facebook's like, wait a second, whoa, are you sure you want to say that? It's.
Yeah, I didn't even get that message. Yeah, I just got banned.
Yeah, so, I'm not a fan of Facebook, and if anyone that follows me on my personal Facebook, they'll know that on Sunday I'm deactivating that thing.
Yeah, you told me. I seen that,
at least for a little while, just because it's bad.
Yeah,
I guess.
That's a time for another story, man. We could talk about that all day long.
Yeah, and by the way, this won't affect the Toasted pages at all. They'll be fine. I'm just my personal accounts. I'm taking a siesta from that. By the way, you mentioned that there are two players that showed up that surprised you, and one was Schwartz. Who was the other?
Bozak.
Tyler Bozak.
Bozak in his 21 out there skating. Weidman was there from the Canadians. Trent Fredrickson was there from the Boston.
Bruins.
From the Bruins. One guy from the Canadian, or not from the Predators was there, but I can't remember his name. Looked it up later.
Yeah,
Clayton kid.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I'll tell you what. Keep talking. I'll look it up.
Yeah. So he was there. I saw. Let's see. Bozak was there. Clifford was there. Shin was there. Schwartz was there. Parayko was there. Parayko was looking really good. Those three guys were there. They had two goalies from one of the colleges. Say again.
Yeah, Luke Heinen is the local kid that's with the Predators. Yeah. Yeah,
he was there. I want to say there might have been somebody else from another team, but I can't remember. I was kind of, so yesterday, do you mind if we kind of segue into what, my trip in that?
Let's go and talk about that. So you had it. First of all, I saw your picture with Matthew and Brady. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So yesterday I was talking to Soup, and Soup had told me that, hey, I'm going to be at Centene at 8:30. Come out. Well, actually, what I didn't know is at 7:30 the alumni skate, and they skate from 7:30 to 8:30. Sure. Well, when I got there, the alumni door was open, and I have a friend within the alumni. Right, I have a friend within the alumni, and he's me and invited me into the suite. So and as I'm going in the suite, here comes Matthew and Brady, and I knocked Brady's water bottle out of his hand.
Oh, geez. Did he drop the gloves?
Yeah, no, I didn't drop the gloves, but he laughed. Hey, you know what? You look at that picture of me and them. I'm 6'2", right?
Yeah.
On skates, they're not that much taller than me. I almost got me an NHL body. I just don't have the coordination to go with it.
I think they would still handle you pretty well, though.
Oh yeah, they would. I
especially Matthew. Matthew's
I watched
feisty.
him practice with Jamie Rivers for about an hour through his Synergy hockey. I talked to him. I got a hold on. Where did I go with it? I know it's here because I was looking at it earlier. Oh, here we go. I'll see if I can show this to my camera.
Oh yeah, there we go. Here, let me go ahead and pull you up proper here. There we go. There we go, right there.
Brady, Matt, and Jamie signed it for me.
Very nice.
Right?
I saw Jamie there on the side
for a few minutes. I'm hoping that they both kind of took my card, and I talked to them, and they sounded like they would be interested in talking to me more. So that was good. And Jamie's Jamie's a friend, obviously. So that helps. It was a lot of fun being in there, and I got to meet some of the guys. And then I look so stupid, Tom. I can't wait to. Barrett Jackman walked up to me, and I didn't know who he was. But we've talked about this before. This huge hole I have.
Yeah.
In my fanhood from being in the service, but it was really good. It was a lot of fun. I know I'm invited back in, so that makes it good. So I get to talk to more guys, and I'll get to keep working. I'm going to try and go to practice tomorrow. I needed to take a day today. I've been here since last Tuesday, and I haven't stopped. Yeah, you've
been running, and then not only that, but you had a couple stops before St. Louis too. I mean, I saw you at the Grand Canyon.
Yep, I was at. I stopped in L.A. I started in L.A. We went to Arizona, went up northern Arizona, did the canyons, Antelope Canyon. We did that. We did Grand Canyon with my daughters. my oldest daughter and her girlfriend. And then we went up to San Francisco and did the San Francisco stuff. We did a San Francisco at night bay tour, going out the Golden Gate Bridge and all that sunset tour. And then I flew to Pennsylvania and I was up in the Poconos for a wedding. And actually, now this is so Mike Dante and Amanda Savorsky are now Amanda Dante. First of all, let me say thank you so much for inviting me to your wedding. And I hope you enjoyed that video that I sent you.
Sure.
I sent them a video yesterday that they don't know, that, most people don't know about. And I really hate telling it because I don't want to make this about me. But I got their favorite player, David Perron, to say congratulations on your.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah. And then during the wedding, I had 3 former players call them, wish them a congratulations and a happy wedding.
By the way, let me just say this about David Perron here while we mention him, because I was not a big David Perron fan in the first few years of his career, and then especially as time went on. I mean, I liked him at first, and then he kind of hit a valley with me. He just took dumb penalties, and I thought he was just a little precocious and a little arrogant. I think when he was younger, I think he had some maturity issues that he needed to work out. And since he's come back from his most recent stint in Vegas, I love the guy. And I'm not talking about just as a player, which he's been an absolutely phenomenal player and one of the best bargains in hockey right now. But off the ice, I've been able to get into before COVID, I was able to get into the locker room through KMOX, and he is probably my favorite Blue to hold a mic in front of and have him drop sound bites. I mean, he's very open and friendly with the media. He just seems like just a fantastic guy, and I've done a 180 on David Perron over the years, and I think even he would say that over the years, I think he's changed personally and as a player as well, and great redemption story in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. So got to do that, got some other things, and then I flew in here on Tuesday, and Thursday was my big day. I had a lot going on Thursday. I had the JP Field show that I did, but Thursday morning I got to get this.
Yeah, the Blues Warrior hockey shirt jersey. That's nice, with the fencing on the back.
Right. This is my jersey, my 53. Now the number is kind of interesting. The number is of the ship that I sailed on during the Gulf War, 1990, the USS Mobile Bay CG-53. So that's why I have that number. And I skated Thursday, had a wonderful time Thursday.
By the way, before we get to that point, though, I know when I was in Hawaii in June, you were worried about your ability on ice skates.
Yes.
I know you were a little nervous. Did you get any practice in before coming here at all? Yeah, no. I figured they probably didn't open the ice rink in Hawaii.
No, they didn't open the ice rink, and I was supposed to do some rollerblading just before I got here. Somebody got COVID, and they shut the rink down.
Oh, of course.
So yes, I was extremely concerned about my skating ability, but the first day it wasn't that bad. I didn't, I fell a couple of times, but for the most part, I was able to stay on the skates, was able to move around, was able to, play with the puck a little bit. I didn't feel bad.
Sure.
Saturday, I probably didn't sleep as much. Well, I didn't sleep as much Thursday night or, Wednesday night as I should have. And I didn't sleep as much Friday night as I should have. The excitement level was just too high. I knew I had to practice and then the showcase. So I get out there, and first of all, it's a light practice. But since I'm an honorary member, I'm not getting the text messages, the group text or the group messages about everything that's going on. So I didn't know it was a gear drill. You weren't supposed to have all your gear on. Right? So I had all the gear on, the shoulder pads and all of that. They were doing a drill where you go around the circle, backwards around the other circle, catch the puck, and go down and try and put it in the net. Did the first one, did fine, missed the net, missed the puck completely, just skated around. Yeah. So, but you know what? That was fine because, I can't skate backwards to begin with, right?
Sure.
That was one of my goals. It's now not going to happen. But so then on the next time, I didn't want to go again. The guys were all encouraging me. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Doesn't matter. So I'm down around on the backside. So you got Plager's name. We're in the Plager rink, first of all.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have Plager's name at the front, the head of the rink, and then we're at the back of the rink towards the locker rooms, towards the Blues alumni locker room.
Mm-hmm.
So I go around the right circle. I get to the left, and I tell Coach, I can't skate backwards. It doesn't matter. Just keep skating. So I skate up, and as I'm going up towards the center, they put the pass right on my tape.
Ooh.
First of all, I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. I mean, I got it on my backhand. I'm moving it to the forehand. I'm moving it to the backhand. I'm not skating fast, but I'm skating up. I look at the goalie, and it's a kid's, one of the guy's kids, right? And he goes, I tell him, one of two things is going to happen. Either it's going in the net or I'm going in the net. So I took a little shot, and it didn't go anywhere, right? No, nothing on it. I seen a puck sitting right next, like on the side of the net as I went by, and I figure, I'm just going to backhand this in. Dumbass. I went to backhand it, lost my footing.
Whoop. And now you got a nice cast.
I broke it. I broke it here and here. Clean breaks.
Ouch.
Clean breaks. So
are you going to need surgery?
Well, I'm going to have an appointment on Friday, and probably I'm going to need surgery. I'm going to need a pin. I got bone chips, and that's the big problem right now.
Oh. Oof.
Right, the bone chips. So even if I didn't need the plate, I would still need the bone chips cleaned out.
That's awful.
But you know what? It is, but it isn't. Because I'm going to look at it this way. First of all, I could have done it. I could have broke my leg. Right? I could have gotten a serious concussion. I could have been in the hospital. I mean, seriously in the hospital. I mean, laying in a hospital bed right now. I could have had to stop this. I could have had to end everything. Right?
Yeah.
No more shows, no alumni, no nothing. I could have had to end everything. I could have been at to where I couldn't drive, to where I was stuck in this apartment and had to find someone to take care of me. I don't have all that. I have a wrist that's broke. Okay, big deal. It's 95 degrees in St. Louis. I can go without wearing my long sleeve shirts and my suits for a couple of days.
If you are, you're crazy.
All right, I can go with that. I got permission. So with this jersey, now this is not a typical jersey like you're wearing, right? This is a game day jersey. We, as a Blues Warrior, they are only allowed to wear these during game days, right? You're not allowed to wear them to the rink or unless you get permission. So I asked for permission to wear this on my show, and I did get it. Good. Right? So I'm not wearing this just to flaunt it around. I asked for permission, and the other reason I'm wearing it is I want to. There are a couple causes that I'm very important to. This Warrior hockey is one of them, and then the other one's the one you mentioned, the event I have at Don Brown on Saturday with Haylee, right? Sure. And they mean a lot to me because of what friendship means and camaraderie means. When I went down, there were people around me instantly talking to me. What's wrong? What can you do? Do you need to get up? They asked me, Coach comes over, can you get on your own feet or do you need a board? That's when it kind of hit me. First of all, I was getting on my own feet. I wasn't going off on a board, right? I had my pride there. I had my ego to go a little bit. So I got him up, and the coach goes, put your arm around. I didn't want to do it, right? To me, that was, but, I went ahead and did it. And while they're taking me off the ice, I'm triaging myself. Right? My wrist sleeve's like that. I'm getting cold. I think I'm going to throw up because I knew I was going into shock. Right? So I was triaging myself. That's Navy training right there. You're triaging when you're triaging yourself. And then I had two nurses, straight on nurses there helping me from the Warriors nurses, and they were helping me and get a plastic bag and all that, and finally got my stuff off and got me into a car, and then one of the somebody at practice took me to the hospital, took me to John Cochran, and I was there at Cochran all day. I had planned on going and still up until it got to the point that I couldn't cover. I had planned on going and covering the event, right? Sure. Until it got past where I knew I could get there. I'd planned on covering an event. When they reset my finger, they put me on some drugs that looped me out. I was hallucinating. So at that point, I knew I couldn't cover it, but I had planned on it. No, I wasn't giving up. It
would have been fun
I tried to cover Sunday as much as I could, but the cold, and I didn't get as much help as I would have liked setting up. So you've seen me set my gear up, right? Yeah. It takes me 30, 35 minutes, right? Get a good setup. Took me 2 hours.
When you're doing with one arm, basically.
Yeah, basically. And, now I have the bigger camera, bigger tripod. 2 laptops instead of one. There's a lot of different things going on. And it just got to the point where by the time the second game was halfway done, I'd lost it. My arm was cold. My arm was starting to hurt. My body was telling me I just couldn't do it. But yeah, so back to Haylee. So this Saturday, and if you are anywhere around the hill, you got to come down to Don Brown Chevrolet from 11 to 3. I know of at least 2, if not 3 alumni that are going to show up. I know Zucker is going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Zook. If you've never met Mike Zook, you haven't met a gentleman. He is an absolute gentleman. I know I got to check with Rebo. He had told me that he was going to show up. I'll double check. I know there was one other guy. I think his name starts with an S. I can't remember his name. But I know they're working on some other ones. We're going to have a teenage girl that has PH that's going to be there. We're going to have gear for sale. We're going to have Rockstar Tacos there. And I'm going to do a 4-hour live show, and I want everyone to come on. I'm going to have a mic set up to ask questions, to talk to people, and talk to the alumni. We're going to have coloring. We have pictures of Haylee that kids can color, right? We're going to have a couple of stand-ups that they can sign on or things like that. It's just going to be. We want you to come out. So on the 26th of September, they have a walk. I think that's the right day. I got to check. But the 26th of September, they have a walk in St. Charles, and I forget exactly where in St. Charles. And that's what this event is, to raise awareness about that event. That makes sense. Sure. That's the press release that they're putting out, and I really appreciate that press release. Don Brown Chevrolet has gotten behind me with this. I mean, if I hated Chevys, I would still go buy one just because of what Don Brown's done. Right? I'm not saying that just to say that. I will tell you this. Don Brown has not paid me $1. Right? Any advertising that I've done for them has been non-compensated. I'm doing it because of what they're doing for me. Right? And that, Tom, you know my integrity. Right? Mm-hmm. That's what this means to me. I've known the Yorks for about 3 years now, before Haylee passed, and I know all about what's going on with them. This family needs us to lift them up. They really do. This little girl, she got it. She got it at the age of 7. She understood what life meant. And I'm talking on the deep level, what life meant at the age of 7. Right? The story that I wrote about her, if you've got time, go to stlfanreport.com. In the community section, there's a Fight for Hay. Look at that and check it out. So this is Hay's Legacy Day that we're having on Saturday. And we just want people to understand who she was and what we can do to prevent this disease. Because once a kid gets it, many of them don't make it to their 10th or 11th birthday. Right? Yeah. There's very few. Of all the drugs that are approved, there's only one for children. One pediatric drug for PH. Right? Yeah. And I know from the family that even after the surgery that she had that day, there was concern that the medicines weren't working anymore. Right? Yeah. So and then I've talked to her. She passed. Now you talk about something that a lot of people don't understand. The day she passed was February 11th, 2020. Mm-hmm. That day ring a bell?
It does, actually, vaguely. What else?
Same day Jay Bomeister had his cardiac event.
That was the heart, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was 2 hours. She passed 2 hours before he had his event. Mm. I'm telling you, something in me tells me, and I even asked her sister agrees with me. She said she feels the same way. She knew that he had to survive, so she gave her life for him. That's what I feel. Mm. Right? That's how this little girl understood what it meant to live. Yeah. And the way we can honor her is just show up. Show up, sign up for that event. I don't think I'm going to text you something here real quick.
Okay.
And hopefully, I don't know if you can put this on the screen or not.
I will certainly try.
I'm sending it to you on Facebook or on Facebook
Okay.
Messenger. I'm going to auction this off.
All right. I'm gonna pop off just real quick so I
Okay.
can bring this up here real quick.
You know, you see what it is?
I see it as a old school St. Louis Blues mask. Is this Staniowski's?
That is a replica of Stanowski's mask being sent to me today. Now, it's not signed yet. It will be.
Okay.
We're auctioning that off.
Yeah, look at this sucker.
Amazing, right? And that's one of two masks. Well, he wore two separate masks. He wore this one, and then he wore one with the teardrop. Right?
Yeah.
The teardrop happened because during the painting of one of his masks, a drop of paint fell down it and inside it, and it looked like a teardrop. So the artist decided to put it on the front.
So he was emo before emo was a thing.
Say again?
He was emo before, it was a mid-2000s thing. Yeah.
So this mask is just absolutely amazing, right?
Yeah.
It was donated. It was I didn't pay for it. They're not asking money for it. The goalie mask guy did it. So I'm asking, go check his stuff out, man. He's got some really good stuff. You want a goalie mask made, any era, talk with him. He'll get you that mask made, and it will look fantastic.
Does this guy have a website or?
Yeah, I think it's the goalie mask guy website. Well, on Facebook, he's the goalie mask guy, and his website's on there. I don't have it off the top of my head.
Okay.
I also have, and I don't think I have it on me. It's in the other room. I have a ball cap, a blues ball cap, brown blues ball cap, signed by Danowski, Liute, Allen, and DRS Stance, Lynn Hall.
Nice.
We're auctioning that off. The way we're going to auction it off is this. We're going to it's a silent/live auction. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be there, and you can write your auction price to start with, right? What you want to bid. And then at some point, I'm going to take them, put them online. We're going to set up you can, put them on the screen. I know there's a delay, but we'll put them on the screen, and then you can bid on them on the screen. And we'll let you go there. People there can bid. People online can bid. The way you will pay for it, you will go to Hayes, the Fun Run Walk, and under the donate, you will donate your winning bid to there, and then show us the receipt, and then you'll get your item.
And then just showing you real quick, this is the Legacy of Hay Facebook page. It is at PH Awareness, PHAWARNESS. So
and that's where you can go and do donations or sign up for the fun walk.
Yeah, everything you need to know about Haylee York and the event Saturday and how you can help out is all on this Facebook page here, Legacy of Hay. Check that out. And again, the event Saturday at Don Brown Chevrolet is going to be from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. I personally am planning on being there probably, sometime around 11 and then up until about 12:30 or so. I know a lot of, if you're a supporter of this show, and I know me and you, we share, a lot of the same supporters. This is a good way for, honestly, for all of us to meet each other in person and kind of hang out in person after spending, the last 18 months or so, digitally communicating, because of COVID. I know Tanner, who's one of our mutual fans, she's excited for it. She's going to be there. And I know a lot of others as well. So if
Roland's going to be there, you're going to be there. I'm having dinner with the Yorks tonight. It's not just for Hay, it's what Hay can do, right? Hay is bringing us all together. Yeah. And she's giving us all a chance to take our notes and say, here we are today. Here we are. We respect Hay for what she's done. And we're hoping to get some more auction items, and we'll have some stuff for sale. I'll have some T-shirts. The arena shirt, I'll have those there.
Nice. Very nice.
I'll have some alumni shirts. I have 2 signed alumni shirts. I don't remember all the signatures on them. We're going to auction them off. I'm going to try and meet with my supplier, or Mike. I'm going to meet with Zucker today or tomorrow. Sure. And we're going to take care of that. We'll have stuff. The mugs, I will have the alumni mugs, right? with Bobby's name on it. The only thing I shown a picture of it before. It won't have the fantasy cap on it, but it'll have some of that. So we'll have some of that to sell, to sell or to buy. Rockstar Tacos is going to be there, and not only that, my show is an interactive, right?
Well, yeah,
so
absolutely.
This is your chance to really get your questions out, and we're going to have. This isn't. We're not walking into this season going, oh my goodness, look how great we are. Look what this is going to be. We're walking into the season going, I make the playoffs. Are we going to have trouble? Are we going to have issues? Is our coach going to make it till December?
It's one big question
That's
mark.
a legit. Every one of those questions is a legitimate question. Yeah. And we haven't walked into this until the 18-19 season.
Yeah.
Right? For the last couple of years, we haven't walked a season like this.
Yeah. And you're going to have some alumni there that can kind of, tackle those questions from the perspective of a former player, which is always invaluable.
Absolutely. I'm hoping to talk to Don Brown and a few others, about what they've done for us and that. So this will be a fun time to come out. I know Rob is wanted to be here, but he moved to Oregon, so he's going to be virtually. So he'll be there virtually. I'm going to get some speakers set up. I might get one TV set up. So you'll be able to see Rob on the side there. So we're working on that. Unfortunately, things that I wanted to do have changed a little bit. But it's all worth it, and I'm not giving up. I'm gonna get. I'm still going to the camp. I'm still going to alumni camp. I'm still covering the camp. I'm gonna do lives from the camp.
And hey, if you need another reason to come out on Saturday, you're probably still on painkillers. So who knows what you're gonna say?
Actually, see, that's the one thing I've stopped. I have stopped the painkillers.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Tough guy.
Well, here's the funny story. They put me on Percocet, and when I tore my knee up, I was on Percocet, and I lived in a 2-story house, and I couldn't go up the second floor. So on the bottom floor, we had these plastic mats, the ones with the little tabs on them when you step on them.
Yeah.
Down on the first floor, they had me on Percocet, and it made me so hypersensitive. I swore I could hear ants crawling across that mat.
I believe it.
Right? So at the hospital, they're trying to give me 2 Percocet, and I said, no, I'm not taking 2 of them.
Yeah, that's a ticket to paradise right there.
So I only took 1 because the worst thing I wanted to be was hypersensitive with my arm, with this big old bulge in my arm.
Oh yeah.
And I'm still hoping that it's dislocated and not broken. Everybody else is laughing at that one. Me, well, no, it's dislocated. They're going to pop it back in. I'm going to be back on the ice tomorrow,
Just rub some dirt on it. It'll be fine.
Well, that's what it was, So, and then they gave me some other stuff. And before I left the hospital, man, I was hallucinating. My tongue was dry. You could have had sand on my tongue. No, it was just so dry. But I knew that I needed to get off the I don't want to be on it. I'm on Tylenol, but I only take that a little bit. It's not painful. It hurts, but it's not hurt. They say there's hurt and there's injured. Well, I consider myself, even though I know I'm injured, I'm hurt right now.
Sure.
And I'm not gonna let this stop the events, Tom. You know me well enough to know that the show's gonna go on. I mean, I put the show on. Some personal things that I've been through.
Yes.
And I've still put this show on. I'm not stopping.
Yeah, you'll play hurt. You will absolutely play hurt for this. I mean,
right.
This is what you've been looking forward to.
Thursday, I'm putting out the call. Thursday at JP Fields. I had like 4 people show up last time. Let's fill up JP Fields. Let's get it full. Let's get this out. Now I'm off. I can't get on Facebook, so I'm going to ask you and Toasted to help post this stuff on the groups and stuff for him. But I'm doing an event at JP Fields on Thursday. Let's get everybody out there. Let's talk some hockey. Let's talk some baseball. Let's talk sports in general, because there's a lot going on right now, right? There's an event that happened that nobody's talking about in sports that needs to be talked about, right? And it's Dusty Emu, right? You know what I'm talking about there?
Yeah.
Right? That's not being talked about. Now, it doesn't matter what your political leaning is. What happened to him is wrong. Absolutely wrong. And it's an important story that needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
So come out to JP Fields. Maybe what is today? Tuesday? Tomorrow, Tuesday. I think I'll try and set up and do it. So now that I know how my setup is, I'll try and do a live show from the house.
All right. And then But then Thursday at JP Fields at what time?
Thursday at JP Fields, 7 o'clock in Clayton.
7 o'clock in Clayton.
Yep.
All right. And then, of course, Saturday, Don Brown Chevrolet, 11 a.m.
Don Brown Chevrolet, and more shows to come.
Yep. All right.
More shows to come.
And then remind me, when do you go back to Hawaii?
I leave St. Louis on the 13th. So right now that is predicated on surgery. And I get back and I'm going to go to Arizona and meet our buddy AZ Sports Guy.
Oh, okay.
And I have a shipmate there and another friend that I'm going to hang out with for a show. And then
Awesome.
I go back on the 16th.
All right. Well, and unfortunately, sounds like you might be going back to Hawaii with a lot fewer tourists than when you left.
I've heard some of that right now. I'm kind of looking at that now. No, I know where I stand, so hopefully I'll be okay. But I'm quarantining for a couple of days.
Yeah, you're a resident, but the governor made a big call today, basically telling people to don't come to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Which is why I took a lot of photos and a lot of video while I was in Hawaii, and just of pictures and just things, and I was gonna put together like a why you should go to Hawaii video, but I was holding off on it just simply because I heard a lot, and I read a lot from locals on social media saying please don't come to Hawaii, it's way too crowded. The restaurants aren't fully staffed, and so I that's why I haven't done anything with any of my Hawaii stuff, just because it would feel a little disingenuous, with
I get
everything
that.
that's going on. So
I get that, and then you always know that when you come to Hawaii, you got me to talk to.
Well, absolutely, but I feel like I went in early June, so I felt that was like a pocket, a very small pocket of this is okay to come to Hawaii, in the midst, in between two, COVID surges. So, but yeah, hopefully I get to go back out there someday. I love that place. It was really, really cool to be there, and just it's hard to explain, people Hawaii, you always think of Hawaii as this land of paradise. It's the islands, the volcanoes, the beaches, the surf, and all that. The vibe there is it hits you different, and it's hard to explain. I guess the best way they call it aloha spirit.
Yep.
In Hawaii, and you'll meet some of the nicest, most helpful people, and it's hard to explain. You just got to experience it.
Yeah,
but
and
experience it after the pandemic.
I'd like to think that that's what you're getting on my show.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I remember when we were Blue Notes, and you would on Sundays you would go on top of Chinaman Hat and take us on a literal tour of the island. That was when the chips were down with COVID and everyone was feeling anxious about that. You provided good service for us by having all those beautiful backdrops behind you and just kind of taking us to where you are. It was like a whether it was a 5 or 7 minute hit, talking about blues hockey, for a lot of our fans, myself included, it was like taking a 5 or 7 minute trip to Hawaii, which was valuable in of itself. So
yeah, well, I tried to do my best on that. I really did.
Trust me, you sweated your ass off and hustled for quite at least a couple of those. So trust me, you went the extra mile. So Guy the White Blues fan, check him out he's gonna be at JP Fields in Clayton on Thursday at 7 p.m. But most importantly, he's going to be at Don Brown Chevrolet 11 to 3 on Saturday, doing a live show with some St. Louis Blues alumni in attendance, and it's all about Haylee York, the legacy of Hay. They're going to be raising money and awareness for pulmonary hypertension, which is unfortunately what she passed from. I'll be there for a little while, and I know a lot of our supporters will be there as well. Just be fun to hang out. Hopefully it's not too hot on Saturday. I think it's supposed to cool down slightly, but I still think it's going to be in the 90s. So don't wear suits, and
I won't wear a suit.
I may have to put away my hockey jerseys, which is tough.
Oh, I know. Yeah, me too. But one thing, I got to ask people this: while I'm home for the next month, every time you go to Lion's Choice, order the Blue Note special. Do that for me. It is a Lion's Choice roast beef, an original, double cheese, extra seasoning, large Coke, and a fry. Order that. You're going to show Lion's Choice the power of Blue Notes.
Now, do you actually say I want the Blue Note special? Will they actually know what that is?
Some of them do, some of them don't. So if they know, they'll give it to you right away. If they don't, just tell them that, and they'll remember it, because that's what I got told. So
that sounds like a challenge. Go to your local Lion's Choice and see if they know the Blue Note
what
special.
the Blue Note special is. Absolutely.
It's like the In-N-Out secret menu, like the menu they don't show you,
That's what I'm calling it. This is the Lion's Choice secret menu, and it's the Blue Note special.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, Guy, thanks a lot for joining me. We're going to tie things up here real quick. I do got one final thing to say to our listeners before I go, though. But, again, thank you very much for being on Toasted Blues tonight, Guy.
Anytime, man.
Absolutely. All right, Guy the YA Blues fan, big part of Blue Notes before we made the switch to Toasted. Of course, he's at stlfanreport.com. Check out his stuff there. I want to thank you for also, I know this is not a Toasted Tavern episode tonight. We're taking over tonight just because Wags and Scott also had some other things to take care of. But they will be back Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday nights. So the tavern will be open on those nights. And I also just wanted to come back and do a show because it's been a little while. And I also want to kind of address something real quick here. This is my first chance to do that with a lot of you guys that don't follow me personally, but I am winding down my stay at KMOX. My last day at KMOX is this Friday. I am doing a bit of a career switch up. I'm not going to talk too much about my new place of employment because I feel for the past 13 years being in broadcasting and being in radio has kind of defined me, who I am a little bit. And I want to kind of break away from that a little bit and, have me define me, if that makes sense. One reason I've been kind of away a little bit, not just because the fact that, there's not a lot going on with the Blues. I mean, we could have done other stuff, but, mental health is an issue. Just like with Jaden Schwartz, and the burnout issues that he was having. I said on Twitter, burnout is very real. It is a very real thing, whether you're a hockey player or you're a broadcaster or whatever it is you're doing. And there's been a lot of reminders lately about taking care of yourself and, doing what you can to live a happy life and not being in a situation that's bringing you down mentally and physically. And this is nothing really against KMOX themselves or anyone that I work with. I love the people that I work with. It's just the nature of the beast and, the nature of those 2:00 in the morning alarms. I needed a change, and I'm making that change, and that means I have to step away from radio for just a little bit. I hope to be back. This isn't forever. This is just me taking a little bit of a break, a little siesta, if you will, but I still got bills to pay, so I have another job lined up. But what this means for you guys is I will be more prominent on Toasted going forward from this. I know some of you have been kind of wondering where the heck I've been. Well, that's kind of why. I've just been dealing with a lot. And Mason also, similar reasons. He made a big announcement on his Twitter page about how he's taking a break just because he's feeling a little burned out as well. But we will be back. We will have regular episodes during the Blues season. And I think it's going to be a lot easier for me to devote more time and energy to this little project of ours going forward. And I hope you're along for the ride, and I kind of hope you understand where I am coming from. But that's it for me. I want to thank you for watching this episode of Toasted Blues. We'll be back as the season gets closer or if there's any breaking news. And in the meantime, thanks for listening, and let's get toasted.
For new episodes, merchandise, and behind-the-scenes content, be sure to visit ToastedSTL.com or follow us on Twitter at Toasted St. Louis. I'm the voice of the Blues, Tom Calhoun. Let's get toasted!